Practice problem 2 in your note packet asks you to convert 450 square feet into meters squared. So even though this is a multidimensional problem, we know that we can attack multidimensional problems by knowing the conversions for the linear units. For example, I know we can use a series of ratios to convert from feet into meters. So your test copy of the periodic table has these conversion factors on the back of it, and so it's always a good idea to just scan the back of it to see what's available to you, and then by quiz time, by test time, you just have to dig into your brain to figure out the rest of the ratios. As we're relating a Uscs unit of feet to a metric unit of meters, this conversion of 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters is going to be really useful to us. So if we know there's a conversion from inches to centimeters, we need to relate feet to inches, which we know in our minds that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. We know that for sure. And we can also relate centimeters to meters, which by now you should know that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. And if you're not sure, here is that list of the conversions you're expected to know before quiz time and before test time, and there's that metric conversion. All right, so here are the conversions that we know. We know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. We know that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. This was on the back of the periodic table. And we know that 100 centimeters is equivalent to 1 meter. Let's just check our pathway: feet to meters, feet to inches, inches to centimeters, centimeters to meters. We have everything we need. We just have to be extra careful about making sure that we are using our ratios properly, that we're squaring where we need to, and so on. So let's go ahead and start the problem with our 450 square feet, or feet squared, same thing. We have feet squared in the numerator, so we also need feet squared in the denominator. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this conversion with the foot unit in it, and I'll put it in the denominator. I'll put my 12 inches at the top. Remember, in dimensional analysis, we want our units to cancel out diagonally, and everything above and below each other is equal to each other. Since this is a unit of square feet, I need to square this entire conversion. You can't just square the feet, by the way. What you do to one piece of the ratio, you've got to do to the entire ratio. So I'm putting this entire ratio in parentheses and squaring the entire thing. And now I want to move on with the problem because I want to end up with meters squared in the end. I have inches squared in the numerator, so I need inches squared in the denominator. I've already used this ratio, so don't use it again. Sometimes people like to check off the ratios once they're used so you don't accidentally circle back and use it again. I can put this ratio, piece of the ratio, the 1 inch in the denominator, the 2.54 centimeters in the numerator, and don't forget to square the whole thing. Square inches, cancel out with my square inches. And finally, I need my centimeters squared to cancel out as well. There's my centimeter to meter conversion, and this will tell me that this now represents centimeters squared and meters squared. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and calculate this in my calculator, but I want to be extra careful about what I'm typing in. In my calculator, I can type in 450 times 12 squared times 2.54 squared divided by 100 squared. Notice I left out all the ones because I know that 1 and 1 squared is itself, so save yourself the calculator strokes, and my answer should come out to something close to this in the calculator. Reminder of Sig Figs, this number, the way it's currently written, only has 2 significant figures in it, 1, 2. There's no decimal, therefore the 0 on the end is not significant. So when I round this answer to 2 significant figures, the 1 rounds up to the 2, and I'm going to end up with a numerical value of 42. But I also want to double check on my units. Feet squared cancel out. Remember, this is squared. Inches squared cancel out. Centimeters squared cancel out, leaving me with meters squared. And there's my 42 meters squared is my final